Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of your OGR, as today we got game 68 as the Edmonton Oilers went up against the Los Angeles Kings and walked away with a massive 4-3 victory over the Los Angeles Kings. As what a beautiful game by the Edmonton Oilers, as we really brought out our A game. We played pretty well. You know, we didn't play amazing in the third period, and certainly we did play pretty bad defensively, but honestly, we pulled away with a massive W, and I think that's what it's all about. When you get a big win over a divisional team like the Los Angeles Kings, and you at least get the 2 points out of the W as well, I think that's still very much pretty big, as we're only now a point back of the LA Kings, and not just that, have a game on hand as well here. So we're looking very, very good. But before we get into all that, boys, I like to just say, if you are new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit that like button as well, as I'll be very much appreciated, boys. So without further ado, let's get into reviewing this game, man. Let's get into talk about everything, and let's talk about the goal scoring. So the very first goal was scored by Alexander Edler, who got his second goal of the season for the LA Kings to start the game off. It was an absolute beast of a shot from the point. And also, if you guys don't know what OGR means, which someone in chat was just asking, and this is a cool thing about subscribing to the channel, make sure to check out the live streams that I do, because sometimes I do a lot of the live OGRs right after the Oilers games as well. And OGRs basically stands for Oilers game reaction, is what it means. So it's basically from Steve Dangle, but I changed it up just a little bit to, not copy entirely what he was doing like OFR. I decided to do OGR, which I do like the name of it. But anyways, instead of, talking about the name, let's move into talking about this game. Of course, Edler got the very first goal of the game. Now, honestly, Archibald, of course, was being a complete moron once again. I just don't know where to start with Josh Archibald, to be completely honest with you guys. Josh Archibald has been completely useless. He only played about 8 minutes in this game, and his ice time continues to dwindle and dwindle because of how ass he is. He didn't cover his man once again, and he bit way down below when Nuge was all over a guy. He left the point wide open, and, they scored, and, I mean, the front of the net was wide open in front of the net as well, and I thought Kiliev taped it into the back of the net, but he actually didn't. It was old Edler who took just a beautiful shot from the point. And it was actually Archibald's man to be covering, and he was not doing his fucking job of covering his man. But, moving forward, Cody Ceci got an absolute bomb of a goal with his 4th goal of the season. It was an absolute howitzer of a shot. He sent it right into the back of the net to give us a big goal for the Oilers to tie the game up. And then right after that, Leon Draisaitl got his 49th goal of the season, as we continue to see this crazy Maurice Richard race that we're seeing right now, as Draisaitl slowly climbs up the ranks and tying up, Matthews once again at 49 goals, as they are just absolutely bickering at each other right now for that top goal scoring race, and I absolutely love to see it. And then and into the second period, Connor McDavid starts out the period right off hot, getting his 37th goal of the season, putting us up 3-1. It was a beautiful goal by McDavid as well. And not just to note, Draisaitl's goal was absolutely McDavid. It was a lot of work by Zach Hyman. He did a great job protecting the puck, and somehow getting it over to Draisaitl well fallen was absolutely gorgeous, like amazing. And then McDavid, a beautiful goal. I don't even know how this went in the back of the net. It was a weird tip, but it went in the back of the net somehow, and he get a big goal. And it's the 100th point of the season for Mr. Connor McDavid. 100 points in 66 games for Mr. Connor McDavid. It's just absolutely ridiculous what this man does every single year with us. And 2-point night gets him 100 points in the season. And then Quinton Byfield got his 5th goal of the season, because Leon Draisaitl apparently didn't know how to play defense. We struggled to get it out of our zone. Bouchard kind of tipped it right towards the front of the net. They got a handle of it, and then Draisaitl did like this thing where he's just going back and forth with his stick and stuff, like actually pressuring Byfield, and just let Byfield take the easiest shot of his life, burying his 5th in the back of the net. And then Grundstrom just outworked Barry, of course. Typical Barry stuff. He didn't play defense and just got picked apart by Grundstrom. And Grundstrom was able to get in the front of the net, and then it just kind of got banked in the back of the net to tie up the game. Nothing happened in the third period. Nothing happened in overtime until shootout, where both Draisaitl and McDavid got big goals to finish it off in the shootout, and just an absolute amazing game for the Edmonton Oilers. So we'll talk about period by period how well we did. So first period, like I was saying, we actually did quite well in the first period. I actually quite liked how we played. We were bringing the pace. We were doing quite well. Moving into the second period, we actually didn't play that bad, but it was an amazing period for us without a doubt, especially when we gave up those 2 goals against. We weren't able to generate a whole lot for the rest of the period, and then going into the third period, the Kings just purely outplayed us. They were taking more shots. They were generating more opportunities. They were doing way better in overtime. We honestly definitely outplayed them in overtime. I thought we were really good in overtime, and I thought we played absolutely fantastic. Moving on to the player review, though, as we'll talk about each line and everything like that. You know the typical shabam. McDavid, Puljujärvi, and Kane was absolutely amazing. Puljujärvi, unfortunately, took a goalie interference, not like a penalty, but McDavid scored a beautiful goal. And then it was just a beautiful backhand by McDavid. Of course, Puljujärvi was in the crease, unfortunately, and it ended up not being a good goal. Unfortunately, because it was a really nice shot by McDavid. It was absolutely insane. But really, they did really well. Kane was all over the place. He wasn't able to handle the puck too greatly. And same with Puljujärvi. He was all over the place. But McDavid, he was looking for 100 points tonight. He really was. He was all over the place. He really wanted 100 points tonight, and he got it. He got 100 points. And he looked amazing throughout the night without a doubt. And then the Draisaitl, Hyman, and Yamamoto line, they weren't great defensively, but they did generate a lot of offensive opportunities, which was good to note. Brassard, he was kind of bumped down to the 4th line alongside of McLeod and Archibald. McLeod didn't look that amazing tonight. Archibald, it was shit, like usual. Ryan Fogle, Nuge, they had a rough night as well. I really wasn't a big fan of their line. They didn't really generate a whole lot. They weren't doing a whole lot offensively. Neither was they were doing great defensively either. They just had a tough night. They had a tough night getting it out of their own zone. They just overall had a pretty tough night. Oh my God, dude. Overall, they didn't have a fantastic night between Nuge, Fogle, and Ryan. I thought, like, when they had their first shift, I was like, oh, yeah, this line's back together. Hopefully, they'll be able to reignite that chemistry before Nuge got injured. And unfortunately, they weren't able to. They got a few couple chances, but they weren't amazing. And Nuge wasn't phenomenal throughout the night. I thought he didn't have a phenomenal night for the Edmonton Oilers. Moving on forward to the defensively, Nurse and Ceci, I thought played really well defensively. They were generating some good offensive opportunities, and I thought they played really well throughout the night. And of course, Nurse played a bulk of the minutes tonight as well, since we had to head into overtime as well. Keith and Bouchard, they were kind of ass defensively. They gave up 2 goals against. They were probably one of our worst pairs defensively, and they gave up 2 goals against. And then Kulak and Barry, they played pretty well defensively. They gave up 1 bad play, but honestly, throughout the rest of the game, they honestly played pretty well defensively. They didn't do too much offensively, but they did play not bad defensively. It's just Barry, he can't battle worth a shit to get that puck. And Mikko Koskinen, he did pretty good. I don't think I could complain about any of the goals that he let in. Honestly, it was just some bad defensive plays. Sure, he saved the Byfield goal. Yeah, without a doubt, but when your team is just not, poking the puck out of his stick and he has tons of time, he's given the fucking world to take the shot and you're not playing on him, I don't know. It absolutely blew my mind how Draisaitl was just like waving his stick, waiting. It absolutely blew my mind. But a massive W for the Edmonton Oilers. In the meantime, we played absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing W for the Edmonton Oilers as well. Mikko Koskinen played amazing. A few other players I guess we could talk about since, I haven't talked very long in this video. In the last few OGRs, I haven't really talked very long because we've been kind of flying through them. A lot of the same stuff has been happening in these games, We have breakdowns defensively, like, constantly. I just don't want to fucking talk about them that all the time. I guess that's the main reason why these OGRs, and I've been noticing them, like, how they've been really short the last few episodes, and that's mostly because we play the exact same way. Like, honestly, like, CC Nurse play almost the exact same way. Sometimes they have a really bad, and most of the time, like, Nurse and CC have been having a bad stretch of games, without a doubt. This was definitely one of their better games, but they still weren't amazing defensively. I do say Keith and Bouchard were absolutely ranked defensively. And talking about Bouchard, I've not been a big fan of his game defensively out of the late. I've been a big fan of his offensive game, but I've been feeling like Bouchard has been having a rough few games. And I think that's the entire defensive core here for the Edmonton Oilers, is that we've been having a real tough time with our defense. Our defense has been really rough. I think our only good defensive pairing has been Kulak and Barry, and I've been really, really, really loving Kulak since we picked him up as well. And Brassard's been pretty quiet since the first 2 games he's played. Brassard was pretty hot when he was playing alongside of Puljujärvi, and now since Puljujarvi's not alongside that line. They have not been playing not amazing. So, but anyways, guys, I'm going to end the OGR here. I'm going to stop ranting as I will be live once again on Friday as the Edmonton Oilers will be taking on the St. Louis Blues. I'll be a little bit late for that game as well. I'll be live at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so make sure to tune into that stream. It should be a lot of fun. But for now, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, amigos.